Hi everyone, I have a message here from Katie, and this is an older message that was in that spam folder I was talking about. Scapegoat, golden child, so confused and depressed. Hi Ollie, we have very similar stories. My mother was physically and verbally abusive. My father was also very narcissistic. But as I'm now realizing, she was always the puppet master. My jaw dropped as I watched your videos and saw the pieces of my broken childhood fall into place, revealing a far more sinister picture, one that, up until then, I had kept hidden from myself. My parents, while they were far more physically abusive to me than to the other children, my mother physically cornering me, holding my hands down, and repeatedly slapping my face. When I flinched, giving me 5 more. Then, when I flinched again, screamed to my dad that I tried to hit her. Another time, my father strangled me while laughing manically, and much, much more. So, yeah, I understand all of that. They also spent a lot of time grooming me. I realize that, far from having a martyr-like interest in my well-being, my mother has been sucking the marrow out of my accomplishments and forcing herself into my spotlight this whole time. As a result, I received extremely confusing feedback. On the one hand, when I was good, I was a genius, untouchable, but I never ever went so much as an inch out of line with their views, their morals. Not not so much religion as an excuse to abuse, or showed the tiniest bit of individuality. Well, the kind of hell that brings. It got so bad as a child, I developed extreme OCD and even started hallucinating out of depression and guilt. Aside, my brother has always been golden and perfect, but received a fraction of the attention I did. My entire family thinks he's a saint, but he gets impatient with me, and I think he doesn't like me either. Flash, flash forward to present times. I'm almost 30 and just moved back home for the second time. Again, seeing the monsters that my parents truly are, I plan to go no contact with the entire family. The extended family has alluded to knowing that there was abuse and doing nothing, and I know that I deserve better people in my life. The reason I'm writing is this. I happened on one of your Golden Child videos. I did hit my younger siblings when we were younger, and have done my best to apologize. I realize that I'm no saint, that I have narcissistic qualities myself, which terrifies me. I see that ugliness in myself, and I wish I could cut it out like a tumor. My siblings have never really wanted to include me, which always really hurt. Now that I realize this golden child dynamic, I feel even worse, like I have no right to be sad or self-pitying. I'm so confused right now. It would be great if you could use your laser insight to shed some light on these dynamics and what, if anything, I can do to heal. Okay. Well, first of all, you're right. The morals, whether morals is in religion or just their general rules, all the narcissists' morals is an excuse to abuse. That's it. I mean, you said it perfectly right there. It is an excuse to abuse. And it's an excuse that your brothers both picked up on. Okay? The dynamic of setting you up to be this crazy abuser yourself is itself abuse. It is what narcissism is. It's making you believe you're something you're not, making you believe you're bad. Your brothers are abusing you just as bad as your mother is. Now, whether or not you hit them as kids fight. You were the one getting abused horribly, not them. As a child, you don't have the mental capacity to channel that anger. And you're going to channel that anger. You want to hurt somebody the same way they hurt you. Listen, that thing with the holding the hands down and getting more if you flinched and then being accused of raising my hand. Dude, that is my childhood to a T. That is my childhood to a T. When you grow up with that kind of violence And that's a sadistic violence because you know as they're doing it, they're enjoying it. And then they hide behind either their morals or their religion, and it is nothing more than an excuse to abuse. The narcissist has no morals. They have none. So anything they do under the guise of morality or religion or anything of the sort is nothing more than an excuse to abuse. As far as what you do to heal, as you go no contact and stay no contact, I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. You will get the clarity to reevaluate everything that's happened in your life as you get more and more breakthroughs and revelations and remembering things that set you on a course to where you are now that you thought would never even have given a second thought was wrong or wasn't the way it was. It'll give you the opportunity to reevaluate your entire being. And the difference now, from now to other times you've been apart from your parents, is now you understand what the root cause is narcissism. You're understanding how it works, how they work, how their tactics change, and what they're ultimately after, which is always just control. You just need to identify what type of narcissist you have. And in your case, and it's not a hard thing to do, that's why these stories are so great, because it allows us to put it out there and we can call it out, and then you can move forward knowing the monster you're dealing with. So you know the monster you're dealing with. You know how it works. You know your entire family had knowledge of you being abused and did nothing about it. So they're useless to you. Your brothers continue with the abuse. They're useless to you. And your mother and father, based on, you already know they're completely useless and destructive towards you. They will never change, any of them. They will just continue their pattern of abuse over and over again until it destroys you, which is what they ultimately want, because your mother gets sick pleasure out of hurting you, as does your father, as does your brothers, and the rest of your family allows it to happen knowingly. So what's the point? And as far as you hitting your brother when you were a kid, that's when you were a kid. And you went to them and apologized. They didn't come to you saying this hurt me and all that, and you try to excuse it. So as far as you having narcissistic personalities, that's something we all deal with because of how we were raised. But one more time, another point that I keep hammering home. A narcissist will never even ask the question or consider that there is a problem. Never, ever, ever, ever. We do. That's why, even though we might have narcissistic tendencies, we are not narcissists, because we know it's wrong and we're trying to fix the problem. They never will. And you're not a narcissist because you're trying to fix the problem. So thank you for your story. I'm sorry it took so long for me to get to it, but it was buried in a spam folder. I hope this helps. Thank you, everybody watching. Any opinions, comments, leave them in the comment section below. And if you have a question or an issue, or you still want your story read on the channel immediately, you know what to do with the PayPal link in the description box. I will have it right out to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.